Okay, so my phone has been acting up. It's not the greatest. Um, Hopefully, it gets over its little tidal wave of emotions. That's what I'm hoping for. Um, Today, physically, I didn't work out last night, so I don't know if that has a lot to do with it, but I just felt blah. And then when lunch hit, my stomach was upset, and it was like a case of nerves, so then it went blah again. So I did eat lunch. Don't get me wrong. I had like those little micro mini raviolis, but for some reason my stomach was just not having anything to do with it, and it was just like. So even though I was a little under the weather, I still did my work today. I made sure Grandpa did his whatever he had to do, which was get up, get down, and make sure he had something to eat while I'm not working. And we didn't get any mail today, so didn't have to worry about that. Thank God. Um, I did do a little bit of reading in Big Sky Wedding. Not much, like 6 pages worth. And I did work on my artwork. You know, I'm my toughest critic. It's getting there. Like I said, I am my toughest critic. What are these? These are notes from Married at First Sight Australia. I was a little worried because I had watched Chris Lee Knows Best tonight and then flipped over to the Australia show. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought we were going to have another, decision time and all that stuff. And I was going to catch the last of the decision time and the first of the new time. Well, they confused the bejesus of me because they brought in 2 new couples. I guess to replace the couples they lost. But we're going to start with my notes. And after my notes, I'm going to get a workout in. So I'm really excited about this. Stacy and Michael. I agree, Stacy, that he needs to gain your trust. He cheated on you with Haley. And you having that dream about him being with Stacy, or with Haley, because you're Stacy, I think that it's going to take time. And, it's an old wound. It won't heal right away. And you don't feel good enough because he hasn't made you feel like that. Michael needs to prove that his partying ways are done for sure. And Stacy warns Michael it's going to be a long, hard week for him. Then we move. I love that the 2 new arrival couples did come in, Elizabeth and Seb, and they're getting close and getting to know each other. Liz has to get over being on the experiment before with her husband, then Sam. It didn't work out, and he was a bad choice. So now she's there with Seb, which is short for Sebastian. Then we move into one of my favorite couples, and I am so afraid for these 2. Steve and Michelle. They're trying to find intimacy this week, and Michelle tries to help Steve overcome his fear and phobia of water, and even kayaking. They argue about the boat, and Steve almost drowned as a child with his brother, and Steve admits that he's afraid of water and kayaks. Michelle, though, convinces Steve to try the kayak. They do the boat kayak together, and Michelle even tells Steve that she is proud of him, so that's an encouraging moment. Casey and Drew bask in the marital bliss of this being a new couple. They show them having a picnic together. Then they quickly cut away to 2 other couples that have been in the experiment now for a while. Connie and Johnny, and Yvonne and Alex. They're playing some sort of Australian game. Look like they're having a good time. Everybody does. Until they sit down and chit-chat. And Connie seems hopeful about Johnny. Jonathan, though, is struggling with Connie, and that's disheartening. I hope that they really make it, but I don't see them doing that either. Yvonne and Alex seem like they're in a good place, but Johnny asks Yvonne and Alex, how are they doing intimately? Come on, get a clue. You 2 are ridiculous. That's being Jonathan asking that to those 2 about their intimacy. That's none of his business. I agree with Yvonne and Alex. Back to Michelle and Steve on the beach. Steve appreciates Michelle. He even respects her. However, he then says he isn't attracted to her. Now, Michelle is confused. She's hurt. She feels like she's slapped in the face with this news. And Steve, he wants to turn it around. But Michelle is devastated. And that devastates me because I really thought these guys were in their 50s, that maybe it took time for them to, get together with the act. But I don't think it's going to happen. Now back to one of the new couples, Liz and Seb. They're playing some sort of game, and Liz is trying to overcome her past of being on the show before. She really likes Seb, so she has to let go of her past in order to give Seb a chance. Then we move back to Casey and Drew, again, another new couple. They're on a romantic day trip to a winery, and Casey talks about Drew's housemate, who is a female. Drew was defensive, and Casey doesn't want to cut off any female friends or feel threatened, but Drew thinks Casey has a jealous issue about Drew's girl roommate. Now, Drew and Casey discuss this roommate, and Casey wants to be number one. Drew mentions how she should feel and treat the roommate, and Casey is offended, needless to say. She doesn't want to be told what to think or feel. Who does? Liz and Seb try to iron out Liz's trust issues by Seb surprising Liz with a romantic date, and this was very, oh my gosh, over the top. Seb thinks Liz is being guarded and knows that Liz needs safety and reassurance. Seb tells Liz, don't hold anything back, and Liz tells Seb she's afraid of letting her guard down, and Seb wants to protect her and be stable base and enjoy things together, especially life. Seb says, I can see myself falling in love with you, and Liz is just like freaked out, like a deer in headlights right here. Seb adores Liz, and this is a side note for Liz. He's a hunk. Back to Liz. She says it's lovely to hear that, and Liz admits that she never has been in love and has a hard time accepting love, and Seb wants her trust over time and letting each other in each other's future. Liz goes out on a gut feeling and admits that she could fall in love with Seb. So things seem hopeful for these two. We're just going to have to watch and wait. They did share a kiss. Back to Stacy and Mike. Mike is really trying hard to win Stacy back after cheating on her with Haley, who was married to, I forget who, but they left the show anyway. He left Stacy a note and saying there was a picnic on the roof with non-alcoholic champagne. And Mike, he admits that he has been wrong in the past, that he didn't chase after his ex. And he just didn't want her back then because he didn't chase her. However, for Stacy, he knew that she was worth not only the chase, but she was the right one for him. Okay, all these picnics, sometimes they can go the wrong way. Now, by what do I mean by that? Connie and Johnny have a picnic in the park, and I really wanted these two to work out, and it's disheartening. Johnny tells Connie a bunch of red flags, too much negative. He wants to leave. After last week, Connie wanted to leave, and I'm going to be sad when one of them or both of them put up the leave sign next week. Connie was a homebody before the marriage. She was quite controlled. Even her mom, when they were having dinner with the parents, was like, hey, you can always come back home. Too much of a welcoming mat for Connie back home. She was so frightened really to fall in love, and I just don't see them lasting. Connie is so hurt and disheartened by this news that Johnny sprung on her. She thought they really had turned things around, and John feels like he's walking on eggshells now, and they are sacrificing too much of themselves to make a couple work. Connie says that she really thought they were in a good place. She's even questioning everything now. Connie thinks John has lost hope and is now heartbroken. And that is where they ended the show tonight. I tell you, it doesn't look good next week, kids. I mean, when they have one of those ceremonies and he and she gets to write down leave or stay, I don't have too much hope for many people staying. Maybe the new couples. I don't look for that one, Casey and Drew, but maybe Zeb and Liz. They might actually have the only chance of hope. Stacy and Michael, maybe, but the rest of them, I'm sad to say, I think this might be a belly-up run. Sad. Anyway, that is your reality show update and my update for the day, because nothing major happened today, thank God. And I gotta go work out now. Yeehaw! So that's good news. I didn't think I was going to get a workout in, remember? But now I'm quite happy about that. Everybody's saying, well, you've been ill today. Don't overdo it. Don't push yourself. I said, you know what? I know my limits, and stop worrying, stop stressing about me. I got this. So, I got this. A lot of questions coming in on the inbox. And I will deal with those in the future. Right now is not the time. So, just take a back seat and a deep breath. Let it all out. Remember to wash your hands. Keep your social distancing. If you can't keep your social distancing, I'm asking you, pleading with you, wear your mask. Be an adult, most importantly. Love y'all. God bless. Till next time.